Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and for this one we have a loco that's making its debut and the return of a route that actually made its debut fairly recently, the rather extensive Southeastern Network. And okay, this route is not a particularly long one, but it's a commuter route that is, well, I was going to say popular. Popular really isn't the right word. It's just an extremely busy one, and seeing as they are, well, one is certainly a major station, the other one maybe less so, but nevertheless it's an extremely busy station, so I thought this would be a reasonable route to cover. So yeah, we are starting at Dartford and our destination is Charing Cross, and because this is a really a commuter route, I'll set the time to 8 AM in the hope, it is a faint hope, but yeah, in the hope that this will increase traffic on the rails. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever, but we'll give it a shot anyway. And the train we are in is a 4-car class 415, the 4 EPB, in the Network Southeast livery. The main reason for me choosing this particular consist and livery is that this is the only option I have with regards to the class 415. So yeah, it's this or nothing. And as for the rest of the specifics, it's summer and it's cloudy. So this particular route, I don't even think it's 18 miles, but we are stopping at every stop. Say this is very much in the commuter rush hour, so yeah, we are not going to be doing any express services here. So that is the setup. So let's get this up and running. And here we are. Now I think in the intro I forgot to actually say that yeah, we are starting at Dartford here and our finishing point is Charing Cross. I did actually have two options as far as the route. One was to go via Lewisham. I've not chosen that one. I'm not actually sure what route this is going to put us on. But anyway, I mean, we even got the Kent link decal there. I didn't know that was there, so yeah, that's a happy accident. He, I think, is heading for a very happy accident. He's walked right through the train. Yeah. Yes, well, I think that was the ghost of Dartford station there. Right, well, we'll get the train set up. This is not going to take very long. That is the one and only light, because I think, yeah, if I choose 2, it lights up the head code, which I can't be bothered to set because I don't know what the head code is. We'll let the passengers on. So while we're waiting, yeah, there is our 4-car class 415. Like I say, it's the only option I have, and I'm not sure what route it's going to take us. I mean, once we hit London Bridge, I know where we're going, but yeah, once we're at London Bridge, there's not a lot further we can go. Anyway, we've had the signal from the guard. Let's get underway. So cab of the 415 here is identical to the cab of the 416, and I think even the 419. The difference between those is more the layout as far as passengers are concerned. With the 415 and 416, one of them has, I think, first class and an actual carsy on the train. The other one doesn't. The 419 is very different. Even though it is a multiple unit, it's not often used for passenger services unless it is pulling something like a 423. Anyway, we're not in either of those trains, so we don't need to really talk about that too much more. So the 415 first came into operation in the late 50s and basically stayed in operation right the way through to at least the mid-90s, as is rather clearly illustrated by the fact that yeah, we've got the Network Southeastern livery here. So they certainly had longevity. So we have entered a 60 zone. So we can speed up a bit. But we do have a speed decrease down to 40 coming up. In fact, that 40 is very short before we are down to 20. I think our first stop is, it has Bexley Heath line up there. I think our first stop will be Bexley Heath station. We need to start slowing down for this, well, really for this 20 section. That must be us going over points. Although, I mean, we've got green signals right ahead of us, so that does not suggest that we are going to be going over points. Okay, so speed wise we are fine for that 20 section, which we are fast approaching. So yeah, even though the 40 and the 20 sections are marked as separate on the route display, so here we are. So yeah, we were going over points of some description or other. So I'm not actually sure our first stop will be Bexley Heath. I think if we were going via Lewisham, I think that would have meant firstly that we would have carried straight on instead of turning off here, and then our first stop would have been Bexley Heath, but we are now off that line. So this 1 in 70 uphill climb is certainly affecting our acceleration. We're now in 835 zone. Now in a 60, which will certainly help. We have our first station coming up, which is at Barnhurst. It also certainly looks like, yeah, setting it to 8 AM, so we should be right in the middle of the rush hour. And yeah, there's nothing here. Almost certainly because I don't have the loco DLC that has been programmed in for this particular route. It's almost certainly Armstrong Powerhouse stuff. As much as it pains me to say it, there is now a reasonable amount of Armstrong Powerhouse that I plan on getting. So this 1 in 116 uphill section will slow us down reasonably well, except it didn't last very long. It's now 1 in 308, so we are going to have to start braking ourselves. Brakes on this thing are fantastic, really responsive, and really do work well. So this EMU is actually the second oldest of the 400 series third rail powered EMUs that I have. The oldest is of course the 402, which is fucking prehistoric compared to this thing we're in. But I do intend to get others. There is the 411 and the 412. If you take a look at Jim Plays channel, you'll find at least a couple of videos where he's driving either the 411 or 412. So yeah, if you like these early-ish EMUs, then yeah, it'd be well worth heading over there to take a look. Waiting for the brakes to come down. There we go. We got the guard whistle, but we didn't get the guard signal there. So, yeah, Charing Cross is already less than 14 miles away. Mind you, it was barely over 17 when we started, so yeah, we haven't exactly got particularly far in this journey. Bexley Heath is indeed on this line then, so that is our next stop. I'll also let you know now, I've got a poll currently running on my channel. and it's not going to be running for very long because it's to determine which loco I am going to use in my next attempt to do the Taunton to Plymouth run in a freight train. My first attempt ended predictably and not very well, and that was using a class 70. So yeah, you have 4 options with regards to which loco I will make the next attempt in. Those options being the class 20, class 47, class 56 and class 60. And okay, that next attempt is not going to be the next video. I already know what the next of these videos is going to be. Well, unless I get an actual request coming before then, but I doubt that will happen. So yeah, I know what the next video will be, but after that, that could be the yeah, the next attempt at that line. So yeah, you don't have too long, so if you are going to be voting in that poll, I would do it sooner rather than later. So we're just crawling along here, but we were braking a bit too hard and a bit too early. So yeah, here we are at Bexley Heath. So certainly within Greater London, but we still got yeah, just shy of 13 miles to the actual terminus. Of course, Charing Cross is well into the heart of central London, probably more so than any other London terminus. Yeah. I mean, the fact that, you know, it is pretty much right on Trafalgar Square gives you that impression. I mean, it was originally, I don't think it's the case anymore, but it was considered the very centre of London when it was always written as Charing X, which I never liked. And I liked it when they did King's X even less. But yes, the X of Charing Cross actually was referring to the X marking the centre of London, the very centre of it. I don't think that is the case anymore because London has been expanding northwards and eastwards at a much greater rate than it's been expanding southwards and westwards. So yeah, I don't think it is the centre anymore. So Welling is the next station. We really do not have very far after Welling before the next station at Falconwood. Yeah, I always underestimate how long it takes the brakes to release on this thing. So yeah, I'm actually having to speed up while travelling along the platform. So yeah, here we are at Welling. Just quickly going back to the poll for the next freight run. When I last checked it, it only had one vote. That vote was for the class 47. I can't imagine which YouTuber who happens to use a Thundercats logo for their main YouTuber avatar could possibly have voted for that one. Oh, that's one vote where, yeah, I really could have bet the house on, and yeah, I know exactly who it was that chose that. And why not? I mean, Mick DC freely admits he is a big fan of 47, and the Class 47 is a great loco. The thing is, it's a great all-rounder. Now, I struggled on that route in a freight specialist, so I think the chances of me doing well in a in a loco that is much more an all-rounder. Oh dear, yeah. But I think what made it so much more difficult than even I thought it was going to be was the fact that on that run I was moving empty bogey bolsters, and they had just no weight to them. So when they all started slamming into each other, there was nothing to keep them, pushed down onto the rails, and yeah, they went all over the place. The consist that I have for the 4 options means that at least there will be a bit of weight behind me. But that does, of course, also mean that there will be a lot more force behind me when they do, eventually slam into the back of us. Anyway, that's quite enough talk about a route that I'm not even doing in this video. So, approaching Falconwood. I mean, I do sort of, need to remind you that I'm doing this run. It's 20 past 8 AM. This is supposed to be like, peak rush hour. Not only are all the lines deserted, but the stations are pretty much deserted as well. So, yeah, very clearly the time of day, especially on the quick drive scenarios, yeah, it really doesn't have the slightest effect. But here we are at Falconwood. Yeah, as much as I like the original BR Blue and the blue and grey, these style emus in the Network Southeast, they do look good. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody who is watching this video is of the vintage that they remember travelling on, at least an emu that looked very similar to this. I mean, on the line that I use most often, the London Charing Southend line, we had class 305s for the majority of certainly the 80s through to the early 90s. And okay, yeah, they did look noticeably different, but they certainly didn't look more advanced. So Eltham is the next station. And we have a speed or max speed reduction down to 30 as we pull out of that station. So we're on a 1 in 80 downhill section, which is certainly helping our acceleration, but it's not going to help our braking very much. So I'm going to brake quite a bit harder than normal. Oh yeah, something else that I was meant to say. Today, I think it's the 18th, sees the release of an update to the 1066 line. Update to version 2.0. Now at the moment I don't have it, and to be honest, unless there is a specific patch to update version 1 to version 2, I may not even install it, because I am more than happy with version 1. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it's not like you need any additional reasons to get that, you know, that route. If you've got the requirements, you really got to get it. It's such a well done freeware route, just like this one. But now it's been further improved. Yeah, it's become an absolute must-have. Anyway, here we are, Eltham. So we're certainly getting down site closer to central London now. Well, those last two passengers just about got on, although they did fade away after the doors had shut, so... Okay, so there's not really much point putting it straight in the weak field at the moment, because yeah, we're coming up to a 30 mph limit. But yeah, once we're back in the 60, yeah, then we will. So we're into the 30 zone. This downhill section might mean we continue accelerating, and we are. Okay, this is quite a tight curve. I can see why the speed reduction was there. It's now 1 in 94 downhill. Hopefully I'll time this right and we'll be into the 60 zone. Yep, there we go. Although we're not going to be accelerating too much because Kidbrooke station is fast approaching. Yeah, I think I put the brakes on way too hard there. Did not need 50% braking. Yeah, look at that. We're down to very low 30s by the time the brakes actually disengaged. So if 1 in 120 means that, yeah, we're still accelerating every time I release the brakes. We're braking too hard and too early. So looking through this route, I mean, this gives you an idea of just how extensive this Southeastern Network route is. It actually contains all 5 of the London terminuses that have services going into Kent and East Sussex. And when you consider that any of the paid for route DLCs that include London terminuses, none of them have more than 1, and then this freeware one has yeah, 5. So it has Charing Cross, which is our destination here. It has Cannon Street, which was where we departed in the previous video that we did on this route. But it also has, well, London Bridge is considered a terminus. And it also has Blackfriars, which we've done in several videos. And Victoria, which, yeah, we use that a hell of a lot. So we've done the London to Brighton or the London to Gatwick airport runs on plenty of occasions. And they have always started at Victoria, or finished, one of the two. So we've got to bring our speed down, got 20 mph limit as we enter the tunnel. We are still on a downhill gradient, but it's shallow enough that we are not gaining speed when we stop. In fact, we are losing speed when I come off the throttle. That's what I was meant to say, not stop. So Blackheath station coming up next. I mean, there's me mentioning London Bridge as I think that's our first speeding. It's up to 1 in 115. But yeah, I mentioned London Bridge earlier, and we are going to be going through that station. It's not even the penultimate station. After London Bridge we have Waterloo East, and then we have Charing Cross. Okay, so the ground has now levelled out. Now we've come out of the tunnel, so in fact I didn't need to slow down then. So I think now we've rejoined the main North Kent line. Either that, or at least it's the line that would take you to Lewisham anyway. We did not go that way. There we are. So, yep, this is Bexley Heath. No, it isn't. It's Black Heath. So there is one guy who was in a hurry to get onto this train. Yeah, it really looks like, yeah, 8:30 in the rush hour, doesn't it? Really need to find out what the keyboard shortcut is for that. It doesn't tell us there. So this 55 section we're in is relatively short. Oh, there we go, we've got Lewisham coming up. Now I was pretty sure I selected the line that did not take us through Lewisham, but oh well, clearly we are going this way. I was braking way too hard and way too early there. So after Lewisham there's barely half a mile to the next station, which is St John's, not to be confused with St John's Wood, which is in a completely different part of London. Been to St John's Wood on multiple occasions. Lord's cricket ground there. It's not my favourite cricket ground, but nevertheless it is there. And Highgate Cemetery is not too far from there either. You go to see the monument to the legend that is Karl Marx. Well, it's not just a monument to him, it is his grave. I mean, fucking hell. So here we are, Lewisham Station. What a lovely part of London. Actually, Lewisham's another one of those. It doesn't have a great reputation, but I don't mind it. It's far, far worse parts of London than here. Just bang it straight in a parallel. Yeah, that 20 mph limit, I forgot about that. Points galore as we come out of Lewisham. So we are now in a 60 zone, but I mean, yeah, we got St John's station coming up, so there's no point accelerating too much just yet. And then once we're done here, we have less than a mile before the next station at New Cross. Just noticed, yeah, no smoking in cab. Yeah, there was never any danger of me following that, was there? So, anyway, here we are at St John's. But it's not just St John's Wood I've been to. I have actually been to St John's, but that is St John's in Newfoundland. See, I always get them mixed up. I mean, I have been to both, but there is St John's, which is either, say, it's either in Newfoundland or it's in New Brunswick, or there is St John, singular, and that's in whichever the other one is, you know. So yeah, St John's is in one, St John the other, and I can never remember which is which. I think St John, no S, is New Brunswick. So New Cross is the next stop, just over half a mile away, and okay, my powers of prediction have been truly abysmal throughout, well, basically throughout my entire life, but I do seem to vaguely recall that after New Cross we don't stop again until London Bridge. We'll see how accurate that is. I'm going to say that yellow aspect is almost certainly not for us. So here we are at New Cross. Here's some yeah, there's like some building work going on nearby. You can see the shard is just starting to appear there. We will certainly be getting a much closer look at that in a bit. So we'll accelerate to 45. I don't think we'll have reached 45 by the time we pass that change in the speed limit. Or maybe we will. I do need to stop underestimating how well these trains perform. This thing may be old and it may be one of these sort of like, you know, boring bog standard sort of emus that you saw here, there and everywhere. It does not mean that they are not good. It's a great one to drive this. Anyway, we are in the 45 zone. So you can also see the Gherkin and the NatWest Tower in the background. So we're into a 60 zone. Let's carry on accelerating. So 20 mph section fast approaching, and then very soon after that it goes down to 15. And that's why. And it is indeed London Bridge Station. There you go. For the first time I think ever on this channel, my prediction proves to be accurate. So remember this day, because it's not going to happen again. Can we get up to 60 before I have to start braking? Yep, we can. So we got up to 60, 60.2. Now definitely time to start slowing for London Bridge. Slightly overdid the braking, but it's not that bad. Maybe a bit soon again. Yeah, no smoking in the cab, my arse. So yeah, well into the 20 zone, into the 15 as we take this rather sweeping point. So in fact we are now in a 20 zone, now that we've come off the points. So yeah, here we are at London Bridge Station, obviously not at the terminus. That building there is the terminus, and yeah, there is the Shard, pretty much at the base of it here. Sounds like the door's all shut. Yeah, there we go. So next station is Waterloo East. So into a 20. So if we hadn't turned off there, it would have taken us into Blackfriars station. So yeah, Waterloo East station now on the route display. Just over half a mile along the line. We're now in a 25 zone. Don't think it's going to harm anyone to take it up to that speed. You can see Charing Cross is now also appearing on the route display. Does make you wonder quite what the point of Waterloo East station is. Well, certainly from the point of view of this train. The London Eye down ahead. Never been on it, never will either. not good with heights at all. So yeah, me and the London Eye, not a good mix. So here we are at Waterloo East. So what have we got here in the way of, I think that is the NatWest Tower. I can't tell from here if that is meant to be the Gherkin or if it's the walkie-talkie. So as you can see, we are, well, on points again, which is really not that big a surprise. Okay, we may as well just take it up to 15. So we're about to cross the Thames. See Houses of Parliament just by the London Eye. I can't remember what that rather grand building there is. I think I missed, yeah, the yeah, I missed the AWS because I was yeah, doing the exterior views. So into the 15 mph zone. We go over the Thames here. And you can see Westminster Bridge there. I'm not sure what bridge that one there is. Slow us down so that those magnetic things won't activate the emergency braking, although I'm not sure if this station has them. So it's 5 to 9 in the morning and there's barely anyone at this station. There's still a fair sized gap between us and the buffers there. But there we are. So that was Dartford to London Charing Cross in the class 415, which is a good drive. Class 415 is a fantastic EMU to drive. Unfortunately, yeah, it didn't look anything like the rush hour, which it's supposed to be. Yeah, there's nowhere near enough people, nowhere near enough rail traffic. But like I say, I think that is because I don't have the the actual train DLCs that have been programmed in for this particular route and its quick drive scenarios. Anyway, let's see how he did. I don't think it's going to be fantastic, especially as the emergency brakes kicked in, because I was too busy with the external views. So penalty brakes applied twice. In fact, they were only applied once, but and speeding once. So yeah, I'd like to say, yeah, I get a pass for the penalty brakes one, because yeah, we were looking around, but yeah, I'm supposed to be focusing on what I'm doing rather than, you know, looking at the various sites that we are driving past. So yeah, okay. I also think I said 416 earlier on, and it is in fact the class 415. But yeah, so there we go. I didn't do too badly, especially by my standards. So yeah, there we are. Dartford to Charing Cross. That is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.